Armored Heat's taught me so much about myself, my body, and how to stay healthy during the demands of a long season.
This was my first year in 2024 using Armored Heat throughout the whole season. I was able to stay healthy all year. My velocity was the highest it's ever been.
Adding the Armored Heat in there was an element that I felt like blended pretty seamlessly.
Other arm care programs are pretty set in stone, not very many variations that you can do with them. Just the simplicity of it. It's very simple and very straightforward. You know what you need to do. There's explanations on literally every single exercise, where you're supposed to be feeling it.
It helped me have my first full season healthy. Not only that, I also averaged my highest velo this year and hit a PR.
The app is so simple. I mean, it even sets a reminder and tells me exactly what I'm doing that day. Having those guys in the app, the combo is pretty special and you can't beat it.
The thing about the arm care is it gets really stagnant at times. And I know that's where it starts, where guys go, okay, I just threw my bullpen. I'm going to do my arm care for the 700th times. And our weight room cycle changes, every month or every 6 weeks, and they're going different routines and different days. Why don't we have that on the arm care side of things? The things that stood out to me was there was different days with different exercises. The routine switched every couple of weeks, which I think is big for the guys. There's a video that shows you how to do it, right? As coaches, we have to spend 2 weeks teaching every arm care routine. Okay, this is how you do this exercise. This is how you do exercise. Now I have to watch you do it. Now I have to make sure you do it right. Now I have to make sure you do it over and over again. And with all that information on an iPad or a phone is huge. And I think the guys really trust it and like it, which I think that's what speaks to me, is that every guy's like, oh, I love it. This is great. I feel good. I even have our catchers doing it now too.
And I knew that they would have quality instruction from people that knew what they were talking about. I know they came back ready to go and they're in a good place, and they haven't just been kind of on their own. If I have 2 or 3 guys on the mound and we're working on whatever we're working on, and, the first round of guys is already finished and they're off doing, their post throw or whatever it may be, arm care for that day, it's tough for me to see them all, and make sure that we're doing it right, and that there's some instruction there and they have some resources there. And so that's been the biggest thing for me. I mean, we utilize it every day. They do the pre-throw activation every day. I'm going to have a good group. Obviously, we have a great culture here that Coach Deggs has built. And so they want to work, and they want to get better. And, this has just been a great tool for us.
Perfection wears purple in Lewiston, Idaho.
Our arms are healthy. They're throwing all the time, and that's what we want. I've gotten really invested into the body and the arm over the years to, learn as much as I possibly can. But it takes a lot of time as a coach. And every day when we break out, with how we do practice, pitchers, don't forget your Armored Heat. It's the main piece of what we do. The main thing for me with it is it gives them more accountability on what they're doing. Great thing about it is, we don't have to write a bunch of arm stuff over break or print a bunch of stuff out or whatnot. They know what else to do, but, outside using this, but bringing the phone with them, as long as they update it correctly, it integrates new things, it changes things. I think it's been great.
Programming a lot of the arm care myself, collaborating with our strength coach, collaborating with our athletic trainer, but seeing what you guys have created and how it's advanced, and the positive feedback you guys have gotten, it just takes a load off my shoulder, and it gives the guys a better program. They saw how easy it was to use, user friendly, and obviously the advancement piece every couple of weeks, getting a new training block keeps everything fresh. So they love that piece of it. From an implementation standpoint, it's been, like I said, pretty seamless. But the way that we've structured out our throwing programs, our weekly throw, it's matched up perfectly.
I bet you've seen this cycle before. Your pitcher comes out of a game and they do their same arm care program that they've done for the 100th straight time, and they're just going through the motions because they've hit a plateau from doing the same exercises over and over again. Well, that's how Armored Heat was built. So at the time, I was the physical therapist for the LA Dodgers, and I would try to get my head in every meeting possible just to kind of keep a pulse on what's going on and what's at the cutting edge of baseball. And really, it was cool. I loved being in those meetings, but then we'd come back to the training room, and for whatever reason, we're doing the same exact arm care program that players have been doing for 10, 15, 20 years, and I'm sure you guys have all seen it. It's your standard Ys, Ts, Is, ER, IR, with either bands, weights, or tubing. And there was no progression or variation to the program. And so I started to see this cycle over and over again where guys weren't stupid. They saw that they started to plateau, and then they just started going through the motions. And it never made sense to me that why are we waiting until guys get hurt and are in the rehab process to where we build these nice, dynamic, and progressing arm care programs that have variation. So when you break down arm care into really, there were two things that I wanted to improve in what the process was. One is what I just touched on, is I wanted there to be variation and progression built into the program. One, so that the arm gets a new stimulus every couple of weeks and you can keep progressing. And then two, because we all know the athlete's mentalities on if they're doing the same thing over and over again, they can really check out and just start going through the motions. So it's kind of a double-edged sword there. And then on the second side of things, if you break down what arm care is, there's really three core principles. There's a strengthening component, there's a mobility component, and there's a recovery component. And really, arm care turned into something where it was done maybe once or twice per rotation, but I was of the mindset of, I think we can really move the needle for these guys' arms every day. Yes, it's not going to be strengthening every day because that's going to do you a disservice, but it may be, hey, on your pitch day, we're going to do the strengthening specific program. On a recovery day of throwing, a light day of throwing that you guys have, maybe now we plug in some of that soft tissue work on those muscles that tend to tighten up over the course of a year or multiple years for that matter. And then on a medium day, maybe that could be a day where we just get sniper specific, lower volume, but really lock into that scap work. So as basic as it sounds, that's exactly how Armored Heat's built out, and it's just designed to take some of that workload off your guys' plate. I know you guys are already wearing a lot of hats, so when you kind of break down exactly what it looks like, it's all run through an app. And inside the app, there's video and written progressions for every single movement that we have in our program. The program itself runs in 2-week blocks. So in every 2-week block, there's 4 programs. 1 is for pre-throw, more on the activation side, and 3 are for post-throw. Those are the ones that are individualized to what they're doing for their throwing for that day. So on the front side of throwing, really, it's how you guys can plug it into your system however you see fit. Usually it's something along the lines of the athletes go and do their dynamic total body warm-up. Then they do their Armored Heat pre-throw activation to get a little more arm specific. Then if your guys do any plyo routines or pre-throw drills, then that's where they would plug that in and then they go throw. And that just makes a real nice staircase approach to get them ready to throw on the front end of things. And then on the back end for their post-throw, like I said, there's really 3 main programs, and there's simply bucketed into a high workload day, a medium day, and a recovery or a low day. So on a high workload day, think for a starter like the start day or bullpen day. That's where we would plug in the full armor program for their post-throw arm care. And that's going to be our biggest strengthening emphasis of any program. It's going to hit from mid-scap musculature through the shoulder, through the elbow, and out to the forearm. So it's really going to be the most holistic program in terms of strengthening. And then for a recovery day of throwing on your end of things, so think day after a start and possibly day after a bullpen, that's where we're going to plug in our recovery mobility program. And that's a day where there's 0 muscular workload, because I truly believe in keeping these recovery days true recovery days. I think it's getting missed a little too much right now. But it's a great day to really lock in on some of that soft tissue, those muscles that really tighten up over the course of a year, multiple years, as I mentioned before, whether it be pec minor, biceps, lat, the back of the shoulder and the cuff. You guys all know the common players that tend to pop up throughout the year. And it's also a great day to hit some of that T-spine mobility and make sure that doesn't tighten up over the course of the season. And then lastly, on that medium or moderate throwing workload day, that's where we'll have the scapular emphasis program. And that's a day, much lower volume, but really a day to get sniper specific with the scap work, those muscles between the shoulder blades, and then there's a muscle that comes from the scapula all the way up to the front of the rib cage, so we're really hitting it from all directions there. So we really try to make this as user-friendly for the coaches as possible, since we know you guys' bandwidth is spread very thin. So we go as far as to, hey, if it's fall buildup, you guys just send us your throwing progression that you have designed, and we'll go ahead and run through it all and figure out exactly what they should do for their Armored Heat on every day so that their workloads line up correctly. As we know, the fall buildup is going to be slightly different than the springtime, a normal season setup. So I like to be really customized with those. And in terms of what comes with the team package is it comes with 4 of our Armored Heat water-filled stability balls. I really like these. They're a progression. I'm sure you guys have all seen the tapping on the arm exercise. That was the previous gold standard for shoulder and scap stability. But the problem is with more high school, college, pro guys, it has a really low ceiling effect. So after maybe 2 to 4 weeks of doing it, they can just brace through it, and it's not a true stability demand. And so that's why I like to implement these water-filled balls, because we can continue to progress that as they get stronger and more stable. So all I have to say is we throw in 4 of those for free in the team package. And then there's also this package of exercise we have that I really love, and it's a quick oscillation dribbles between 2 bands. Really good to add that speed component to the arm care. The problem we were finding was we wanted to make this program a little more mobile than needed to be done in a squat rack. So we developed these really small mini stability balls that can strap to the palm of the hand. And then that way they can make these dribble packages far more mobile and able to be done really wherever, at the field, down the foul line, in the bullpen, at the hotels, wherever they need to get it done. So that's what the team package comes with. The pricing from 10 to 19 athletes, it's $240 per athlete for the entire year. At 20 and above, it drops down to $180 per athlete for the entire year. And that's out the door cost, including stability balls 4 and 2 that I mentioned. If you guys would like to move forward with Armored Heat for your guys, then please reach out. I'd love to hop on a call with you. And if not, that's great too. You can follow us on social media. I try to put out as much helpful and useful information for players and coaches as possible when it relates to arm health and ways to deal with injuries.